Hey, did you not hear me? That guy is a liar. It won't do you any good if you stay with him. Chris's face was etched with concern when Natasha was unfazed by his provocation. He couldn't bear to watch a beautiful woman like her be ruined at Dustin's hands. Damn, you sure are annoying. It's none of your business who I hang out with, Natasha snapped, having lost her patience. You. Chris was on the verge of a breakdown. Never had he imagined her to be so stubborn. How could she still go back to Dustin knowing that he deceived her? Was that guy so charming? Mr. Nolan, this kind of person deserves to be deceived. Not only does she not appreciate your kind reminder, but also speaks rudely to you. How ungrateful, Lyra uttered unkindly from the side. So showing kindness is a crime now? Chris felt unjust, but obviously he was more jealous. You two must have known each other for a long time, right? Dahlia asked abruptly. Judging from Natasha's behavior, she couldn't help but suspect that they had long had a secret affair. Otherwise, there wasn't a reasonable explanation for Chris's determination. That's not important. What matters is that our feelings are mutual. Natasha smiled. While speaking, she pressed her chest against Dustin's arm, as though swearing sovereignty. At this sight, Dahlia's gaze became fiercer. Despite knowing that Natasha was deliberately pushing her buttons, she couldn't suppress her irritation. It felt like someone had snatched away something of hers. Dustin, I've seriously misjudged you. We aren't officially divorced, yet you've already found yourself another woman. Dahlia tried to calm her emotions. In fact, she had been brooding about their divorce because she felt like she owed Dustin. However, the latter had begun fooling around with women while she was busy thinking of a way to make up to him. At the end of the day, she was the clown. If that's what you think of me, I have nothing to say. Dustin shrugged as he was lazy to explain anything. Fine. I was thinking that I owed you something, but it looks like we're even now. Dahlia's expression turned indifferent. She felt as if she was looking at a complete stranger. Great. Although Dustin's poker face remained, his heart momentarily twitched for some reason. Ms. Nicholson? Just then, Nastya spoke up with a smile. The choice you made was rather unwise, but I still have to thank you. What for? Dahlia slowly looked up at her. Thank you for letting me have Dustin. If not, I wouldn't have discovered such a treasure by myself. Natasha was flashing a satirical grin. Her words meant to humiliate Dahlia. Hey, you bitch! Lyra was about to explode when Dahlia raised her hand and cut her off. She looked Natasha in the eyes and replied, Your so-called treasure is just average, in my opinion. Average? Natasha raised her eyebrow. You're calling a highly educated martial artist average? Ms. Nicholson, you do have high standards. However, the guy you're with doesn't seem to be any better. At least he's better than Dustin. Dahlia didn't back down. Oh, really? Why don't we make a bet then? Natasha dared playfully. About what? Let's bet which of them will have greater achievements within a month. What do you say? Hearing this, the three of them were taken aback. They didn't expect she would suggest something like that. Chris sneered as he looked at Natasha incredulously. Say, did you hit your head or something? Are you making me compete with this piece of trash? Is he even worthy? Exactly. Mr. Nolan is the successor of Nolan Pharmaceuticals, with assets worth over $1 billion under his name. What does Dustin have? Lyra pursed his lips in disdain. Are you sure you want to bet on this? Dahlia felt a little lost. To her, Dustin had nothing other than his good looks. Conversely, Chris was excellent in all aspects, be it his family background or personal capabilities. The two of them were far from being on par with each other. Dustin could never beat Chris, even if he were given 5 years, much less a month. Of course, it's only about whether you dare to accept the bet. Natasha raised her chin obnoxiously. What are we betting on? Whoever loses the bet will have to apologize to the other and admit that she had no standards. Sure, the bet is on. Dahlia nodded. Good. I hope you don't regret it. Natasha chuckled. Both of them possessed equal beauty but contrasting temperaments. At that moment, a rivalry had silently formed between the two. We shall find out when the time comes. After casting one last glance at Natasha, Dahlia turned around and entered Mirage without another word. Pfft, you're digging your own grave. Chris and Lyra sneered again before following Dahlia into the building. Not once did they take Dustin seriously. Mr. Rhys, what do you think? Did I do well? Natasha asked coquettishly as she tucked her hair behind her ear. Even though her action looked simple, there were many meanings behind it. You went slightly over the top, Dustin said helplessly. If we lose, you'll lose your reputation. Lose? Are you kidding me? Don't tell me you can't even beat that loser? Natasha started to agitate Dustin. I'm an ordinary man. How am I supposed to compete with a successor of a wealthy family? Dustin shrugged. Ordinary? You're too modest, Mr. Rhys. Your looks alone are out of this world. As Natasha blinked at him flirtatiously, she appeared like a street thug harassing a lady. Feeling speechless, Dustin pretended not to see it. Nevertheless, he had to admit that her performance was impeccable. It saved his pride. After all, very few women could steal Dahlia's limelight, and Natasha was undoubtedly one of them.